You cannot afford to miss a single moment of the next hour. Get ready to have your ideas about sexuality, love, and relationships blown wide open. It's time to get educated, entertained, and enlightened, as well as sexually empowered. You have now tuned into the Tantra Love, Sex, and Intimacy Show. Now, here's your host, Tanya Diamond.
And as usual,
there we go.
We are here.
We're laughing and enjoying.
We're laughing today. Well, started laughing today because I have, I get on Facebook, and I'm pretty popular with certain men on Facebook, and I get IMs where they are saying that they want me and other such things. And I'm flattered. That's very flattering. Thank you to the men out there that find me attractive. I like that. And I was telling this one man, I said, well, thank you, and I'm not available. And I can teach you how to attract a woman like me with one of my coaching programs. And
how to attract any woman you like.
Right. I mean, like me, better than me, like 20 of me, you know.
What you see in me and more.
Right. All of that. And that's very true. And my coaching programs are designed to get you what you want, though I am not available.
No.
And so, anyway, sometimes they get a little persistent about that. And once again, I am completely flattered that gentlemen, ladies, the people out there that find me attractive and tell me that. There's quite a few out there that really enjoy my voice on the radio. And thank you.
I enjoy your voice on the radio,
thank you,
too.
Joshua. Thank you so much. Today we were having a really good time. I'm getting ready to unveil Team Tantra and put my team on Facebook and put my team out there on the internet for everybody to see. And we're very excited, and we're having a lot of fun today doing our group photos.
That was fun. I always love dressing up for an occasion.
Right, and the whole thing with the group photo is I wanted everybody to kind of, not dress professionally. I wanted everybody to dress kind of like how they feel about themselves, so you could see what a great eclectic group of people that we are, that we bring what we bring to the world in our eclecticness.
Well, what we each bring to it with our own unique edge, style, color, flavor,
Right. And it was quite fun. We had, of course, as you can imagine, lots of fun. In fact, but our videographer was shaking his head.
Right. He's dressed all casual. We're dressed all, kind of bang. And it was a good time. He was like, you guys were like, yeah, whatever. You're enjoying every minute of this.
I kept saying, we are the spaz stars of the world.
Right. A little bit spastic.
Forget the rock stars of the world. Yes. So that's us, and we're having lots of fun. And we need to talk about, it seems I'm hoping we're not talking about the same things over and over again, but, people keep IMing me and calling me and emailing me with, those questions that seem so prudent and interesting to them. And that has to do with last week when on Facebook, and, if you're not on Facebook, I'm on Facebook, and it's TANJA Diamond, and you can friend me there. I put a note on Facebook about compulsive masturbation. Is there such a thing as too much?
I'm familiar with that topic.
Yes. And people were quite surprised, I think, because I think nobody understood that actually masturbation itself could be an addiction.
Masturbation can be compulsive?
Yeah. Yeah. And addicting.
Really? And addicting.
Right.
No, I can stop anytime I want.
That's right.
Actually, now I can, but...
Yeah. Well, and so, how do we, we believe in masturbation is good. Touching yourself is a good thing.
Being familiar and comfortable and loving your own body and loving how you feel is very important.
And being your own best lover.
Absolutely.
What we teach.
Long before we met, Tanya, I was telling women in high school how critically important it is to love their own body and know how it works.
Why were you telling them that, Joshua?
Oh, because I was always talking about it. And part of it was I want them to enjoy themselves in intimacy. And a guy can't just guess and hunt and have a good experience. And being a good lover is a two-way street. Knowing your own body well enough, knowing how to enjoy yourself well enough that when you're with someone else, you're walking half the journey.
Right. It is really, really important. And The thing is, we do qualify. Well, let's first say that compulsive masturbation, or what this was all about, was the people that use masturbation, and there are a lot of us out there that do this, masturbation as medication. And what does that mean? That means you go home at night, you can't sleep, you masturbate, you get off, you go to sleep. You get up in the morning, you masturbate in the shower just because.
Well, yeah, because you feel the energy built up. You feel, and most guys, like, it's like we have to pee, we have to ejaculate. It's just a buildup of pressure. It just has to happen.
Right. And so this one, in the one story, this one man didn't realize that, basically got up in the morning, he went in the shower, he masturbated. He got home at night, he went to bed, he masturbated. It was like, this is just what he's doing. It becomes this habitual thing.
And he wasn't crazed. He wasn't, borderline personality. He just, like most of us guys, working it on a regular basis.
Right. And so what makes it compulsive, or what makes it a problem, is when it's not the masturbation itself, it's the chemical release that you're having. And what happens is you become addicted to these particular chemicals in your brain. And when you try to stop, you freak out and have withdrawals.
Yeah, and have to do it even more.
Right. And then there's those binge masturbators. That was me.
That's when I get some free time.
Some free time. Masturbating all day long. There are actually people that masturbate to the point that they hurt themselves, too. And, their skin is raw and everything else, and they keep going. So there's a lot of things going on with this. Once again, we do advocate touching yourself. And in fact, we would like at Team Tantra to tell you that self-pleasuring would be even more fun than masturbating.
Yes. Self-pleasuring.
Why is that?
Well, self-pleasuring is about actually touching more of the body than just the genitals.
Yep.
It's about expanding where I can feel pleasure. And, what's great about that is I'm self-pleasuring for more than just that release of tension. Because ultimately what I've been discovering is that my need to masturbate is typically stemming from stress.
Right.
And so,
and not just sexual. See, here's the deal. Most people think they're horny. And a lot of it is they are not really that horny. They're stressed.
It's emotional stress and contraction and conditioning to have to release that tension. One of the most effective ways, but also a way that's a misdirection of the energy. Right. And so when I'm self-pleasuring and I'm caressing or massaging my own body and releasing tension that way and producing the same, very similar pleasure hormones, although it doesn't feel as intense initially, I'm waking up my body. I'm opening up the nerve sensations of the rest of my body. Why is that important? Personally, it helps me release tension. It helps me develop neural pathways to the parts of my body other than my genitals, other than my sexual organs, to feel. The other side to why that's important is when I'm with a lover, she can touch me in more places to turn me on and bring me pleasure.
Yep.
So it's a two-way street. One is I get to manage my life more effectively because I don't always have to masturbate to feel sane.
Right. Yeah. So you're not looking for that. Insanity is because you might have been going through withdrawals and need that stress.
Yeah. I mean, as guys, if we don't ejaculate on a fairly consistent basis, the pent up energy causes angst. It can contribute to aggression. It either towards people in general or women. It creates imbalanced competitiveness. I mean, guys, come on. Let's name a spade a garden tool here. We get pretty worked up when we don't get that type of release, and
that's because men don't know how to move that energy out of the second chakra. If all you're doing is storing it up in one small place, you're going to go wacko, basically.
We do.
And we teach you that, just the self-pleasuring, how to move that energy through your body and use it as inspiration and use it as energy. So I had one of my clients tell me that, he's practicing the ejaculation mastery.
Yeah.
Went 4 or 5 days without ejaculating. But see, we want you to self-pleasure. We want you to build the arousal.
Not just ignore it.
And not just ignore it and stop touching yourself at all.
Learn to move the energy and then build up more energy.
Right, and build up more energy and move it through your body and build up more energy and move it through your body. And he said what he found was all of a sudden women were looking at him. He was looking at them more, and they were looking at him more.
Really?
And he had tremendous amount of energy to do all sorts of things.
I call that virile male syndrome.
That's right. Right.
When women say he's virile, they are somehow attracted.
Yeah.
And they can't explain why. And it's chemical. We're putting off chemicals of attraction.
Right, and you're keen. I call it keenness. When a man has a lot of sexual energy going, he's keen. That whole thing of spanking the monkey or whatever before the date. That's like so lame.
Yeah,
you just lose all that. I see we got the producer in the radio station. She's shaking her head going, right, exactly.
The energy is dead. There's no sparkle. There's no power that the man's walking in with. And, we think that we're showing up cool and calm and not controlled by her beauty or her energy or whatever.
And you're showing up like a dud.
The reality is the anxiousness or the excitement of getting ready for the date.
The keenness.
We need to learn how to breathe and move that energy through our whole body so that when we arrive at the dinner table, she notices how virile we are.
How keen.
How keen.
I love that word. I mean, because it really is. It's like you see more, you're sharp, you're just looking around, your nostrils are flaring.
It's like being adrenalated, yeah.
Right. So self-pleasuring, the thing to do, is to bring pleasure to your entire body. And that means that you're not just genitally focused. You are actually pleasuring oneself. Now, whether you're pleasuring oneself, yourself. Now, whether or not you choose to ejaculate, we do advocate, separating orgasm and ejaculation. And we talk about that a lot. And this, though, I just want to say, masturbation, self-pleasure, two different things. One you're doing for sexual tension release and medication, just getting off really quick. The other one you're doing to enhance your sexual experience, to put pleasure throughout your entire body, and to really build up your capacity for pleasure. People don't realize this. We have this tiny little capacity for pleasure. We don't even know how much pleasure we can have in our bodies because we're trying to get rid of it all the time.
Right.
So anyway, my note on Facebook did cause a little bit of
a ruckus.
Yeah, and here it is. This guy says to me, "Hey, just to give you the heads up, I'm removing you now from my updated list, and I wouldn't be surprised if others do the same. I'm posting this note about this private issue. In posting this note about the private issue of masturbating, you're not only doing men a huge disservice, but also women. You're not helping the problem, Tanya. Don't wonder anymore why our society is so screwed up and why women are continually treated like shit." I was a little confused by that. I was like, ooh, that was really, really uncool. And that word that I used that maybe got bleeped, I'll be replacing it this time when I read the rest of this. So, wow, that was the first time I did a radio blooper in a year. All right, here we go. So I said, I found it interesting that it was despicable to you. I appreciate your feelings about this being a private issue, but I'm a sexuality teacher. I deal with private issues. I had a priest recently tell me he attended my class that my work should be taught to all the clergy in all churches, and I'll have his testimony available shortly. The problem with society is the shame and guilt and unconscious living that is so prevalent. I'm about getting people educated on the hard stuff. I honor your experience, hope you at least read the issue, and I'll tell you that you might be the only one who leaves my list. People want and need the information desperately. He wrote back, "You keep on thinking that then. Keep on thinking about that you posting about men doing this kind of thing will help with such dysfunction." Like I said, Tanya, don't for a second wonder why women like yourself are being treated like complete, all the time. Not for a second, because you are contributing to it.
I think this person is in an emotional reaction.
Well, that's what I said.
And I'm sorry, you're still reading.
Right, I said I'm not being treated like by anybody. I'm always treated well by men and women. And I'm not sure what your issue with this all is. In fact, this is the first email of this nature I've received. I think you may have mistaken me for a sex worker. I'm an educator, but I hear you're upset by something. In my line of work, people who get so triggered are usually the people who need the help with that particular issue the most.
Right.
Did you read the post? Is it that you believe masturbation is wrong? Or did you think education will hurt people? I've helped thousands of people over the year, and what have you done? And that was kind of it. But if you're one of those people that feels like this man does, do you feel like these issues are private and there shouldn't be?
I still don't quite understand what his issue is. He's not actually addressed the issue. He's only essentially done name-calling and said bad things about you. And I don't really feel he's stated what his issue is in an intelligible fashion.
Well, I think he was triggered. I think he was triggered that that whole issue of masturbation should even be
discussed on Facebook.
Talked
I think
about.
he doesn't realize that however he found you and friended you I think he neglected to realize that you're a sexual intimacy and relationship expert, and this is what you do for a living.
You mean other than right there that it's posted all over the side of my wall?
Other than the fact that it's right there on the side of your wall,
right.
I either he liked your picture or some of the people he knew, he identified and said, oh, I'll friend that picture because these are all really neat people. He's obviously not looked at your website in the post and identified what it is you do and why.
Heads up, everybody. I'm a sexual educator.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We're going to talk about things.
Why didn't you tell me that before I became your co-host?
I know. I'm sorry, Joshua. I know this is really shocking to you.
Oh.
So we need to bring subjects to light. Mm-hmm. You know, we need to bring these subjects that people are afraid to talk about out in the open and talk about them because they're happening anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that is just going to go on. And this, most people are really like you guys, that are here listening to me. There's thousands and thousands of you all over the world right now and thousands every month coming on board even more because you're dying for this information.
Yeah.
You're saying, what do I need to do here? Because sex is just sex. And is there something more? Mm-hmm. And yes, there's a lot more. And no, we're not trying to take anything away from you. We're just
right. We're not saying it's
to add.
We're saying where's the line of how is it helping my life? Where's the line of this is a natural thing that's good to enjoy, and where is it potentially destructive?
Well, here's the deal: the one thing that every human being in common on the planet, all of us have in common, sex. Well, does anybody? I know.
Wait a minute!
I know.
How dare you?
Across race, gender, politics, whatever religion, we are sexual human beings. Mm-hmm. This is one of our directives. That is our main: eat, sleep, have sex. These are our directives.
Are you saying the fact that people are compelled to put their parts together?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, so why is it then that this? We talk about food. We talk about water, drinking things. We talk about shelter. We talk about all these things. But this prime directive somehow has just become so messed up. I mean, in knowing what's normal because nobody's really talking beyond who puts what where.
Right.
And I know people that have amazing relationships. I mean, relationships that I, was like, wow, I love how they treat each other. Yeah, role model relationships. And really when I start talking to them a little bit more in depth, I find out that indeed that they're just having level 2 sex, which is basically button pushing sex.
So they have a really great relationship, and they're still at a very
rudimentary,
remedial level of intimacy. And so I'm not just saying sex; I'm saying intimacy,
right?
Which that's physical, that's emotional, that's spiritual. Knowing each other on a deeper level, and their sexual relationship is very primal in their knowledge and their expertise.
Yeah. Well, and for a lot of women, we are so happy to have a man that is amazing, that it doesn't seem like that we should be complaining. Now, okay, and here, see, and one of my listeners, she's got a delay in here. She didn't realize that I am just about to talk about women because we've been talking about men a lot. And she says to me here, Tanya, you're always talking about guys and ejaculation mastery, but what about us girls?
Excellent.
I feel like it's really difficult to maintain arousal. For me, I have moments of sudden horniness, but I can ignore it and it'll go away or get off quickly. I try to breathe with it or move it up, but it goes away. How can women maintain a level of arousal? Is that even the right word? For more time. Okay, let me tell you first. Women's arousal, of course, is primarily hormone related. We are the most aroused during ovulation. And a woman's arousal is very easily tanked by where the man's energy is going as well, and what's going on in our heads. So a woman's arousal looks something like this. It's like, oh, I just got a hormone flash. Wow, I'm quote unquote horny.
Right.
What do I do with this? Oh my gosh. Should I have sex? Should I masturbate? Should I do something? I need to do something with this. And if you're having sex with, you're probably like, oh, you go grab your partner and you're like, wow, we got to hurry up because, this is like a guy who.
Right. The sudden moment the spring is going to shut off any minute now.
Go, 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 go. And the pressure of maintaining that elusive arousal because you don't know why you were aroused in the first place. And you get busy with your guy and the next thing you know, where did it go? I mean, I know that there's not a woman on the planet that hasn't been in bed with her partner thinking, wow, this is awesome, and then go, huh, what happened? What's going on?
Yeah. Is she actually listening right now?
Well, she's going to have a time delay. I mean, she's on.
But she's listening on the.
Yes, yeah.
Great, wonderful. Part of the dance of that, when we're talking about ejaculation mastery for men, what is it about for women in two levels? For a man to hold ejaculation mastery and bring up adoration and gratitude and be able to spread his sexual energy through his body has a triggering effect for a woman's arousal.
Yeah, but let's just talk. Let's first just talk about a woman on her own. Okay. Woman on her own, single woman out there. Okay, you're wondering what's going on. First of all, we are not empowered to be sexual beings as women. Mm-hmm. Nobody out there is telling us go get you some. Mm-hmm. Okay, nobody is out there.
I do.
Yeah, you are telling women that. Yeah, but most people are out there are not telling women. I mean, we're told from a very young age that we're the gatekeepers. Mm-hmm. We're told that, men only want one thing, and, you got to keep control of it.
And if a woman does have sexual desire, she's wanton.
Right, that's right. We've got all sorts of names for women like me. Mm-hmm. Women out there that do have a high sex drive. So sex drive, so we don't really look about it. We don't really talk about it much. We're elusive about it. How do women maintain arousal? First of all, you have to become aroused. And the self-pleasuring that I'm talking about is one of those things to do. Mm-hmm. We need to move the sexual energy through our bodies. Women are heart-centered. They grow up within heart and nurture center. And we need to take that heart energy and spread it down to our sex center. Mm-hmm. We need to wear things that turn us on. So we need to live in pleasure.
Clothing that feels pleasurable.
And I'm not talking about strapping on a vibrator and wearing it to work. I mean, you could do that.
I haven't even had that thought.
I mean, that's great. You can do that for sure.
We're talking about feel good in what you wear.
Feeling and pleasure. Most women have such poor self-esteem that, of course, arousal isn't happening.
Well, yeah, if you feel like junk about yourself,
right,
then you're not aroused by yourself. So the only moments you're really aroused is when a man is nearby. And then it's in someone else's control versus...
Right. And then if he doesn't do it right and he's not bringing his energy right and everything else...
You're in your mind thinking about what's not working for you.
Right.
Not in your body.
If you're worried about how you look... I mean, a woman's biggest sexual killer turnoff is her own idea about her body and her own sexuality. Mm. And that is
That saddens me.
Yeah, but it's true.
I believe you.
I mean, most women, their thoughts are something like this. Here you are, you're kissing with a man, and you're like, ooh, yeah, that's nice. And, oh, wait, his hand, it's on my back. What about that back fat? Oh, my gosh, should I move? I got to move if I move like that, then he can't feel that. Oop, his hand is sliding down to my, I like that his hand's sliding. Oh, but he's touching
But he's going to touch my belly fat.
Oh, my God, now he's touching my sides. Do I have that roll? I'm wearing those tight pants. Oh, I shouldn't have worn those tight pants. Oh, my gosh, look, he's kissing me there. Oh, that's good. What does my breath smell like? I wonder about my breath. And this goes on, and it's like, and then he's sliding his hand. Now he's touching my butt, and my butt is way too big for him to be touching. Oh, my God. Pull his hand off of here and go here. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, and this goes... And
I was talking with a friend last week who, in talking about Tantra, talking about intimacy, shared with me that she does not reveal her tummy to her husband.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? She's like, I do my best to situate myself so it can't be seen.
Right.
I'm like,
women
are you kidding
spend so much time arranging themselves. And, what happens if you made the mistake of, like, quote unquote, you didn't shave your legs that morning?
Oh,
this is not impromptu kissing. And now you're going to, be all worried about that. And then you've got to wonder, what do I smell like? Oh, my God, what do I taste like? What if he doesn't like how I smell?
She told me if his hand
taste,
starts to go for her tummy,
yes,
she will shimmy away. She'll slide so that he can't. And I'm like, you are, denying him an experience of touching you, but you're denying yourself an experience of being aroused. You're having self-judgment and hatred over yourself.
So many women I don't care what they look like. I deal with women who absolutely have no quote-unquote extra weight to lose anywhere. I mean, they couldn't, and they will still not let a man see them naked or not touch their stomach.
You have to allow your body to be touched so that you can enjoy being touched.
Well, there's that.
I mean, as a massage therapist, a professional massage therapist, I don't do sensual work. It's all very professional, therapeutic, relaxation work. And having clients who are self-conscious and say, don't touch my sides. And I'm like, why? What does that feel like? Well, but you're touching my fat. I had a client who was a delightful person, but you're touching my roll. And I'm like, but how does it feel? I don't even know how it feels. Your body needs love. Your body needs to feel relaxation. And my job here is to bring you therapeutic touch. Yeah. And as she relaxed and realized I wasn't judging her, it was not a sexual experience. And she relaxed and said, well, it does feel good. I'm like, and are you relaxing? Can you love yourself? Yeah. And she enjoyed the experience so much just to be able to relax and receive. You know, I have clients who are like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't shave my legs today. I tell them, oh, neither did I.
I know, it's hilarious. But I mean, we have, we're reading Cosmo magazine. We're listening to, we're watching TV. We're doing all this stuff, and it's insane. I'll tell you what, you want to know how to maintain arousal? Quit reading Cosmo magazine. Quit watching TV, and quit thinking that you're not as beautiful as you need to be. And building up your own arousal. What does that look like? So many women don't self-pleasure. We learn to get off, maybe learn to get off in under 2 minutes, if that, in sexual tension release. That's that breath holding, holding your breath, and then, it's
so
over.
they either do tension release, masturbation, or shut it down.
Right, or don't do it at all. How many women I talk to, I ask, how often do you masturbate? And most of them will say, well, I don't know, maybe like once a week or a couple times a month or whatever. And I'm like, you're kidding me.
But I don't really want to.
Yeah, this is something you should be doing every day. And whereas I'm saying, can you be a compulsive masturbator as a woman? Yes, you can. And you'll know it because of how you do it. It's a tension release. It's medicating, right?
And you don't
for loneliness.
You don't have to climax.
Right.
But you can, caress your whole body so that your whole body feels your touch.
Right. And living in pleasure, what does that mean? That means that you see and accept yourself as a sensual, sexual human being, and you do things that cause that pleasure to come about. Whether it's, do you wear sexy underwear that make you feel great? Do you wear, your favorite pair of jeans? Whatever. I mean, things that make you feel sexy. Women need to bring up their sexy factor. Now, this does not mean that all of a sudden you're wandering around checking everybody out, and
you are feeling good for yourself.
Yeah, you're letting off those pheromones, and you do get noticed more when you're living in pleasure and living in arousal. But the first thing you need to do is take your arousal into your own hands, so to speak, completely, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I would say. I mean, the more you do this and the more you concentrate on your arousal, the more you will be aroused. Men are unabashedly, most men sexual, but not in society, maybe not so much anymore either. So we have a whole bunch of apathetic sexual people wandering around that have sudden bouts of horniness that don't know what to do with it.
Especially if if a lot of the women aren't feeling aroused or aroused enough, and they're judging themselves and they're judging us as men. If I walk up to someone and I'm feeling sexy, I'm feeling virile, and I make a look or a comment, and they're in judgment and they're not aroused, there's no fun in it. There's no intrigue and interest, and then they're wondering why,
Right. Well, I mean, we've read, I was talking a few weeks ago about the whole injecting the G-spot.
Oh, yeah.
Injecting the G-spot with collagen so that you could feel horny more, and your G-spot, instead of actually arousing anybody, instead of actually learning how to be in arousal, we're spending $1,800 injecting our G-spots to be full.
Well, the classic is, honey, I need more foreplay. How many people go to counseling for the therapist to say she needs more foreplay?
But you know what? I got to say this. I remember telling a guy once, so, I need to be touched a little more.
Right.
Okay. This is funny. Okay. Because he was averaging about 5 minutes before jumping on for intercourse. And so, I said, I could really stand to be touched more. And he's like, oh, okay. And he touched me for 6.5. So men need specifics.
You got 2 minutes out of that compliment.
I know. Yeah. Men need specifics. This is not really his fault, okay? Because that was a little bit more for him.
Right. And you said a little bit more.
I did say. And so, so when I brought it up again, it was kind of like, what do you mean? Do you want me to touch you for an hour? It's like, well, that'd be cool.
Well, I would, when I talk to women about, you should be touched until you can't stand to be touched anymore.
Well, for a lot of women, no, I see, Joshua, here's the problem,
in a way of, yeah, go ahead.
Most women they only have a tolerance of 5 minutes because they've never been touched that long. They're sure the guy is just, because most women truly believe the only reason a man is touching them is to get them off so that the man can get off. So women have a very low tolerance. This is not men's fault.
Well, I think for a lot of mainstream men, they're touching the woman so that they can get inside.
Right. For a lot.
Yeah. Which in the end is so that they can get off.
Right. So we all know that.
Yeah.
And so...
And there's a much better place to be.
Oh, yeah.
Being in adoration of how it feels and how it arouses us as men, because it arouses our women, and then the desire. I would much rather a woman in touching and caressing her arrives at the place, not where, okay, I'm ready, honey, arrives at the place where she says, I need you. Yeah,
well, I think for a lot of women, they're numb. Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, a lot of women are numb. Their bodies are numb. They, they're using sexual tension release to get off. They're not even aroused when they're doing it. They're not even aroused when they're doing it. How many women out there? I mean, every woman that's listening to me now, you have homework.
Raise your hand if.
Yeah. If you're listening to me right now on the radio, you have homework. And your homework is this. I would like you to go get a mirror. Maybe not right now, but, you need a mirror. You need to check out your yoni, which is the vagina. We call it the yoni, which is the sacred space. Sacred space. Thank you.
I remember these things.
He remembers those things. And you need to check out your yoni in let's just call it an unaroused, flaccid state, right? And believe it or not, because the clitoris and the yoni do get engorged, they do swell up, they do get like 4 times the size that they normally are. All right? But very few women have ever even seen that or know that about themselves. Because if you are numb and if you've patterned yourself and taught yourself to just have this little bit of horniness and then get off in that sexual tension release, you've never maybe actually been fully aroused. It could take 4 hours.
Right.
And so, if you've been going for 15 minutes of self-pleasure and you're like, well, nothing's happening. Okay, nothing's happening. Set aside an afternoon and be ready with your partner or yourself to find out what is it really like if I really spend the time.
A little field trip.
That's a field trip.
Have some
field trip to Yoni Land.
Lubrication.
Yep.
And
some little chocolates.
Some food. Some
fruit,
water. and definitely water. And make a project of just touching each other.
Or yourself.
Are you saying without intercourse?
Yeah.
Okay, could be solo.
Yourself.
Take the afternoon
Definitely.
just to be with yourself.
I think solo to start. I think solo to start so you don't feel the pressure.
Yep.
There's also a way to have your partner do this, and the product that we're coming out with, erotic mapping, talks about how to do this specific thing as a partner exercise where you're actually giving feedback to each other about what's happening. So a lot of men out there have never seen an engorged yoni because especially if they watch porn, let me tell you, those women aren't actually turned on. I mean, I can take one look at a woman's yoni on a camera and tell you what's going on.
They're just working.
And yeah, there's not much happening
They're not
there.
actually, even if they're screaming, they're not turned on, huh?
No, there's no engorgement.
Okay. I mean, they could be aroused, but they're not really in a high state of arousal.
They're not in much state of arousal if they're not engorged.
Tension release orgasms.
Right. I don't think they're orgasming.
Really?
I'm sorry to tell you.
Even the ones who are going nuts and squirting and all that fun stuff?
No, the whole squirting thing.
I know how you feel about the squirting thing, but they've got to be having some kind of response.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's pretty crazy. They're having a response, all right. And I've talked about female ejaculation. Women do ejaculate, and it's from tiny, tiny little glands. And it's not squirting, flooding across the room. That's generally more bladder release.
Urine containment with a little bit of emrit.
Right, which is fine. Groovy. Enjoy it.
If it feels good, go for it.
That's what I say. I say if it feels good, just have yourself a party.
If you're looking for a higher experience in orgasm, many of the techniques that we teach in ejaculation mastery for men are transferable to women, and it raises the pleasure for both.
Well, I have to say, so, to answer this question, if you're a woman struggling out there about what to do with your sexuality, I do have a coaching program for that. What do you believe? It's called Becoming Orgasmic and Beyond. It's a coaching program for women. Even if you're already orgasmic and you just want to be more so, if you've never been orgasmic, if you just want to know more about how to get the most out of your pleasure.
If you're struggling to have arousal and keep arousal.
Right. Any of these issues, I address that. And I believe that's a 2 or 3 month private coaching program with me. And you can go to my website and look under coaching, and you will find that. And we're going to take a break, and we're going to be back in a few minutes. Keep on sending me your questions.
Thank you.
One of the 40 million sexless couples in the U.S.? Are you wondering why having sex leaves you feeling lonely? Are you suffering from the myths of sexual dysfunction? Do you know in your heart that there has to be more than what you're currently getting out of making love? To rid yourself of sexual ignorance, get more out of your lovemaking, and find out more about spiritual sexual connection, then you need to check out www.thetantrateacher.com to receive your free copy of the ebook called Secrets of the Tantra Teacher. Don't suffer another minute without the sexual loving and ecstatic bliss you were born to receive. Get to www.thetantrateacher.com right now. That's www.thetantrateacher.com.
Is your sex life non-existent? Do sexual dysfunctions leave you soft? Is internet porn getting more than you are? Or are you paying more attention to porn than your partner? Have you tried talk therapy and it got you nowhere? You are not alone. You can be freed from sexual shame, guilt, and dissatisfaction. A visit to the Tantra Teacher is in order. Call now and mention you heard the Tantra Teacher on the radio and get a very special offer. Stop waiting for a miracle and call right now. 206-276-2735. Phone consultations or in person will get you the information you need to be successful in your love life. But you have to call now. 206-276-2735. Stop making excuses. Call the Tantra Teacher. 206-276-2735.
And that's that pointed finger that says, we're back! You know what I want to know?
What do you want to know?
Why do people think that jeans without underwear is comfortable? Because I just don't.
For you?
It's not. It's not. I'm just not a happy camper with it as a rule.
It's a mixed thing. If I've got to sit for a while in jeans without
Is it
underwear,
the sitting?
that's not a good thing.
I think it's the sitting.
The skin gets folded up in it, and it's just not.
It's not happy.
Walking
when I
around.
first started dating my girlfriend, she wore jeans without underwear
all the time,
3-4 years in a row, and now she just, I think it's more comfortable with underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know. I could never do it. Maybe it's just a guy. Maybe the guy parts just wouldn't feel as comfortable.
No. Those seams are not a happy.
I kind of like the whole yoga pants thing.
Underwear.
One of my friends once cued me in. Most women don't wear underwear with their yoga pants. More comfortable and no seams. And I'm like, you keep doing that.
Right. That's true. I'm
in
it
full
is. There
support
are.
of that.
There are. Yeah.
But that's a soft material.
Yeah. The jeans, though, it's not. I'm not so happy.
I haven't gone to a yoga class yet. I don't know if I can handle that.
Well, there's something to be said about panty lines, though, too.
Yeah.
Well, sure, because they're panty lines. You see that little edge of like a ruffle, like a lace panty, and you just
if it's a lace panty and it has a nice edge, but if it's just like underwear, regular underwear underneath a yoga pant,
no. I saw a guy once at the gym. He was wearing spandex with the jock strap thing, but his butt was kind of hanging over the thing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's not very sexy.
I don't. Yeah.
No.
But I was all for him. He was wearing bright pink spandex. I was like, dude, you bring it. I mean, you feel good about yourself in those bright pink spandex. I am all for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with that. So, So my Facebook friend here said, thanks, Tanya. That was helpful. Can't wait to have fun homework to do. You go, girl.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, that's
homework.
Right. Homework.
I want to tell us how it's going for you.
Yeah,
no, and I don't mean that in a lurid way. I'm like, I really want to know how.
He doesn't want to blow. Well, he does.
Well, I usually like the descriptions, but I love hearing, how is it going? Are there areas that you're feeling blocked? Are there areas where, wow, I'm feeling what it feels like to feel good when I touch my ribs, when I touch my arm, the underside of my forearm.
We're orgasmic on any part of our body.
Yeah.
I can take a woman's hand and the inside of her palm.
I'm getting orgasmic as she describes it.
I'm doing it right here on my palm.
I get to watch.
I can actually help a woman. I can help a woman have an orgasm in the palm of her hand. Mm-hmm. We are orgasmic over our entire bodies. But we don't take that kind of time, and most of us don't have that energy ripping through our bodies to fuel us. We're shut down, people. I mean, the world right now is in trouble. We're talking apathetic, shut down, not feeling our bodies, all in our heads.
And as we experience excitement, we think we have to accelerate. We think we have to put, the pedal to the floor, shift into high gear, versus get excited, slow back down. Get excited, slow back down. I mean, guys, let me clue you into something. If you don't already know this, there is a level of touch, a depth of touch, that if you run your hands on a woman's body at a certain depth and at a certain speed, pace, there is a literal chemical release at a certain pace of running your fingers across a woman's skin. I was reading about it this week, that a specific pace releases arousal chemicals.
That would be oxytocin or the bond. That's the bonding chemical.
Oxytocin. I mean, it creates arousal, but it's a certain pace. Yep. I mean, they actually had people hooked up to sensors to tell when this happened, at what pace. And call me, I'll tell you about it. But it's amazing that instead of rushing and how much foreplay, let go of the concept of how much foreplay. Embrace the concept of, I want to learn how to ignite your body.
Well, we used to, I mean, people, what's like fun? How about fun? Ooh. I mean, what happened to fun and laughter in the bedroom? Laughter? Everybody's just trying to do the other person and then get off and go to sleep for couples.
Be as romantic and sexy as you can be, and who knows what that is?
I don't know, but I think fun needs to happen because fun has its own hormones and chemicals that lead to arousal. Laughing is arousing.
Especially when, judgment...
Not laughing at him or her.
No, not laughing. But judgment in the bedroom is one of the quickest things to shut things down. Guys get defensive, women get defensive, either can get hurt, and then it's like, bam, game over. Whereas you bring some humor into the bedroom and you give feedback to each other and you get to laugh,
I think, here's something to do. Here's some more homework. I'm all about giving. I want the people of the world.
How many assignments can I handle in
That's
one
right.
night?
I'm all about giving the people of the world something to do. Here's something else that I did that's it's a very fun exercise to do. It's a little scary, but I think scary is fun. So there you go.
Scary.
And I'm like that. How about everybody that listens to my show? Now this is gonna be cool. Everybody that has listened to this show.
Should I be writing this down?
Is gonna go out and do this. And you know what's gonna be fun is you're gonna run into somebody else.
Oh.
That listens to this show. And then you're going to know they have an education that other people
Is this going to feed into our certification program?
Well, this is going to feed into our, some of our huge giveaways we're getting ready to gear up for here. But we'll let you know about that later. But this is it. If you walk around and ask random people, what is my sexiest attribute? Just walk up to anybody. It doesn't matter who they are. And you're not asking them.
Perfect.
You're not asking them, am I sexy? You're saying, what is my sexiest
I need to write this down.
attribute? And I did this exercise and it was awesome. It was so much fun. I have, if you haven't seen me on my website or my Facebook, I am busty. Is that a polite way to say that?
Yeah.
And that's something I've always been my whole life. And of course, so then, in my life, I have taken on this false illusion that my sexiest attribute are my breasts. Of course, they get a lot of attention all my life, so that made me think that. So, of course, when I went out asking people, what do you think my sexiest attribute is? And I was walking up to complete strangers, clients, strangers, didn't matter. I was talking to everybody.
And did you tell them in advance that you're an educator? You just walked
No,
up
I just walked up and say, hi, I got a question for you. What's my sexiest attribute? I thought I was going to get your breasts, your breasts, your breasts. Right? No. I got really surprised.
Tell me.
I got your voice.
Really?
Now, yeah, and that changed my entire thinking about my voice because I did not think my voice was a great attribute. And so my voice got ranked right up there. My hair, my voice.
Do you think they just didn't have the courage to say
my breasts?
straight?
No, because there were plenty of people that
men and women.
Looked right. I had a lot of women say your breasts.
Okay.
So I did get the breasts, but I got the voice, I got the hair. I've of course got the people that knew me, my winning, stunning, thing for life. Well, you're just
your
so
attitude,
alive,
your attitude,
right? Exactly. Right. Your attitude is sexy.
I hope if I ask people this question, they're not going to say your breasts.
Well, we got a problem then, right?
I don't think I have. Do I have breasts?
No.
Okay.
So what that'll do for you, though, is it will give you, first of all, it's so much fun to go out and do that. It'll give you, an idea of what people see. What do people see? So it was fun. The next thing to do is when somebody asks you, this is very much a favorite thing of mine, how are you doing today? I always say, I'm sexy.
Ooh. I've been working to build up the courage to say that.
It's so much fun.
Is it the same as a guy, if a guy says it?
I don't know. I'm not a guy.
Okay. I'm sexy.
But, at Starbucks, Seattle, here we are, the big Starbucks, all Starbucks, and I drive up. Good morning. Welcome to Starbucks. And how are you today? I'm sexy. And there's some Starbucks, that have the video cameras that when I drive up,
they recognize your car.
They don't even ask me, how are you? They all yell, all of them in there. It's like,
hey,
you're sexy.
Nice. I wonder what happens when someone drives up with a car like yours, but it's not you.
And they all yell, you're sexy.
Hey, sexy.
That would be great.
Cup all decorated.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
I think it's a great thing to do. It's quite a lot of fun. It makes you feel pretty amazing, and very few people look at you or give you problems about that.
Right.
There are.
Yeah, my mind is still in that other fantasy. Wouldn't it be funny if Mr. Schultz had a car just like yours, the owner of, the founder of
Starbucks?
Anyway.
Hi, sexy. Well, maybe he'd like it.
I think he would. He's a good guy. He's a cool guy here.
Yeah, maybe he'd enjoy being sexy. Anyway.
Right.
These are the things that you can do out there to, pique your interest and pique your arousal and learn to live in arousal. I mean, one of my person here on Facebook that was saying, how do I get more aroused? How do I live more in arousal? Dancing, breathing, singing,
circulating,
moving
energy through your body. And that's not a woo-woo concept.
Nope.
Exercising increases oxygen, increases blood, gets energy to your body.
Here's the thing. Stop watching TV.
Oh.
If you want to be aroused more, quit watching TV. Get your butt out of your computer chair.
Having an adrenal trigger from your adrenals to your brain and sitting on the couch.
Right. And guess what? Here's a big one. Soy.
Soy?
Quit with the soy.
What is that doing?
Monks use soy to decrease sexual arousal.
Really?
You didn't know that, did you?
I didn't know that.
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
I already don't consume soy.
Yeah. Soy is a downer. Soy is a downer on the libido.
Even for women?
Yeah.
Estrogen mimicker?
Right.
Really?
Yeah. And it overpowers testosterone. Insulin resistance creates tanking of the libido.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a problem.
So what's anti-soy?
Anti-soy. Woo!
What
raw vegan diet. I tell you want to really blow yourself out in arousal? You stick yourself on a raw vegan diet, you've got so much energy that isn't being wasted in all these other areas that you got plenty of sexual arousal.
Well, one of my side projects, is sexy food.
Right. Excellent.
So if anybody listening has suggestions on sexy food. I do.
I have entire lists of sexy food.
I want that list. Research project.
Okay, excellent. And the other thing for men is getting rid of phosphoric acid. The stuff in Coke and stuff. That's a testosterone. Wow, what is up?
Killer?
Thank you. I can't even speak tonight.
Wow.
Testosterone killer. So, and the lower your testosterone levels.
Phosphoric acid?
Oh my God, so many things.
Really?
Yeah.
So do I have to stop drinking Mr. Pibb?
Oh yeah. Our food sources are really doing a number on us. And men, if you're out there, if you're eating soy, if you're eating a lot of dairy, you're doing that kind of stuff, you're flooding your body full of estrogen, and that's not really good for your arousal either.
So I don't consume dairy. I don't consume soy. I have a Mr. Pibb once a week with my Mexi fries.
That's cool.
Okay.
Don't get too crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not
keep
having
it
problem with
containment.
arousal, are you?
Well, actually, I'm in having learned how to move my energy. I sometimes find that it's difficult to actually bring it back down.
To bring it back up?
To bring it back to, my first and second chakra.
So, it's just wandering all through your body?
So it's wandering through my body, and it's pretty chill. And, if I want to self-pleasure, I kind of really have to, touch my body. This is cool. And Vajra, whatever. I can take it or leave it. So I really have to get myself into tension arousal in order to get an erection. Now, that being said, I'm not with a woman right now. So when I'm with a woman, there tends to be a level of arousal when needed.
Yeah. Well, and, there are men out there, one of the shows we need to do is like when he lasts too long.
Right.
We're talking about ejaculation mastery, men wanting to last longer, but there are men out there.
Distracted and in conflict.
Men that last too long.
Right.
And there are men that last too long.
Right.
Every woman will tell you if she's had one.
Well, there were times where I was lasting a really long time, and, it was sort of like, this is going to make you sore if we keep doing this. And so we decided to spend more time moving slowly and cultivating each other's arousal, and at times just sitting completely still. But in that, when we felt like we needed to really do a lot of thrusting and crazy moving because it felt so good, we would just be completely still, and it got crazy, let me tell you.
Right. So the same problem about men not lasting long enough is one of the reasons that men can last too long, or they have a problem with ejaculation or having orgasm. They can be the same thing.
Tension and conflict.
Yeah, and so if you are a man struggling with any of these things, and of course every man is. I mean, let me tell you that unless you are an ejaculation
and this translates
master.
everything we're saying about men. It goes the same for women.
Right. So here's the deal. I have coaching programs for men too.
Mm-hmm.
And.
But wait, there's more.
I know. And now, just for you, for this limited time, the Premature Ejaculation ebook is the #1 resource to learn about your body, even if you're not premature. It's still the level 1 of ejaculation mastery.
Right.
Learn about your body, learn about what's going on.
It's the beginning of sexual mastery.
It's the beginning of sexual mastery.
Tantra programs.
And you can find it under my products there. And it's just I'm getting amazing feedback from it. It's an ebook all the time. So we do have products. We've got coaching programs. December 5th. Orcas Island.
December 5, Orcas Island.
Yeah, the Outlook Inn.
That's an awesome place.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Love being there.
And I'll be getting the page up here for it real quick, but you can email me if you're interested. It's going to be a couples weekend, not the Sacred Intimacy weekend, but a very different type of couples weekend. Going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. And I know that there are people out there that have been knowing about my Inner Circle program, which is really, really one-on-one, super special year-long coaching program with me. The gentlemen that are doing it this year, my students this year, are just kicking butt. It is just amazing.
This is for men and women.
This is for men and women and or couples. And I'm gearing up to start taking new students again. I only take a few every year.
So are you taking a list of interested people?
I am taking a list of interested people. You can email me at Tanja, Tanja, at learningtantra.com. Tanja.
And get your name on the list.
Get your name on the list
early.
Yeah, because this thing sells out really fast, and
there's only a few spaces.
Right, we're talking
people.
Tantra for business, Tantra for life mastery, Tantra for sexual mastery. I do the whole thing. It's
a full life makeover.
Yes.
How to integrate all these concepts into every aspect of your life.
Yep. And I work with multi-million-dollar business deals and companies and relationships and whatever. I mean, all of it. So it's there, and get on it
so
fast.
So go ahead, and if you're interested in that, if you've been wondering about that, send that email to Tanja, Tanja, at learningtantra.com, and let her know, put my name on the list.
Not Josh's name, your name.
No, not my name.
All right.
They're not letting me do coaching yet. I'm certifiable, but not certified.
Don't put his name on the list. All right. We are going to be back with you next week. And I believe we have a great guest coming up next week who's, she's a fascinating woman. I just met her. We're going to have great conversations about women, how to keep the juice going after menopause. Keeping juicy later in life, because let me tell you that sometimes when women have the best sex of their lives.
Yes.
And we will say bye to Billy. Bye, Billy.
Bye, Billy.
Bye, everybody. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week. I guess we'll hear you next week.
Yeah, or you'll hear us.